Blue Hulk.
Huh? Yo! Stain?
Now, whatever you do, don't push this button.
I am Groot.
Uh-huh.
I am Groot.
That's right.
I am Groot.
No! No, that's the button that will kill everyone!
What's good, YouTube? It's your boy Vontae the First, the day portion of Mugen Eclipse.
And it's me, Mr. Stendhal. I mean, Mr. Twitchy, the night portion of Mugen Eclipse. Welcome back to another My Hero Academia Vigilantes reaction. This time, Season 1, Episode 6 today.
Twitchy, what happened in the last episode?
So as I just mentioned, Stendhal. No, but seriously, let's back it up a little bit. So, Popstep had a fateful encounter with Koichi when she was a young boy. I mean, a young girl that fell into the river and was drowning. Koichi, as it happens, was on his way to take the entrance exam to be a hero in training, and he chose to save the girl. Now, one thing that I will always say, because I am a manga reader, for those of you who are joining us for the first time, I never understood why they didn't verify that story at the hero school that he was going to. That's literally like an instant admission, in my opinion. If you literally stopped on the way to school to save someone, like, why were you not admitted on the spot? I digress. So he missed the exam. She felt bad about it, so she went back home and got the All Might hoodie that he gave her so that she wouldn't catch cold. And there was this very sweet moment to where she was jumping through the night sky, like, thank you for all the times that you've saved me. I finally got to meet my hero from back in the day. Now, you juxtapose that with the back end of the episode to where the rock villain, let's just call him, the Thing, he was rampaging once again after getting injected with IDEO Trigger. And who shows up to Koichi's rescue but Mr. Stendhal? And Mr. Stendhal does not like you if you wield power without conviction. He proceeded to hunt down that man after the initial encounter, throw a little knife into the guy's eye, and then cut off his arm. So that guy might be dead, he might be incapacitated, but either way, Mr. Stendhal is a problem.
He literally reminded me of Stain. I said it in the last episode. I was like, it just reminds me of Stain and his stance on heroes, and then Stendhal his stance on like people in general with power. It's the same vibe there. So that's something I feel like maybe the mangaka of this, since they were an assistant in the past, they it was something that they kind of pulled from Horikoshi, and that's cool. I like that a lot.
All right, guys, so if you enjoy our reaction today, make sure you like the video, and without any further delay, let's get into Season 1, Episode 6 of My Hero Academia Vigilantes right about now. No drunk driving. Thanks, All Might.
I didn't really think about that, like with the Yakuza before, like Quarks became a thing. Like all these just criminal groups, like
it was normal society.
It was getting their ass whooped when some people showed up with powers like this. Jesus Christ!
Oh man,
this is quick and just intense.
Right into it.
All right.
Blue Hulk.
He looked pretty cool. Like that. That was cool. Huh? Yo. Stain?
It was the same voice actor, Vontae, and I was smiling so much last reaction.
I was very much on the money. That's kind of hilarious.
Yeah, he's
I
just
kept
like
saying
Stain.
how
He's just like Stain.
Because he is. Wow, he's a very unique character.
So obviously you saw where he ended up. This is his origins.
Yeah. I should have known with the katana too.
だがそれまではダニを食うダニにも若干の存在価値はある。
はいはい。
うれ、ジュースと読み終わったじゃん。
What you reading? What's that? What's that? What's that? I forgot. You got your ass squeezed up by that giant. Oh, why are you in the hospital?
Remember, Stendhal at the end said he was going after Spike. But this conversation, jokes aside, is really interesting from a drug addict perspective in our real world, because there are some people who can kick it after one use, and there are other people who get addicted to it after just one use.
守るべきもののために戦う路線ってのもありかな。
もういい。
GG's.
ざれ言は十分だ。
そうがくん、君が負けるとラプト君も燃える君も殺さ
Do
れちゃう
you
のだ。
use it?
死ぬ気で頑張るのだ。チャンス。
Nope.
Okay.
てめえらの思い通りになんかなるかよ。
Would have thought he had some kind of dignity based off of how they were introduced, just being bullies, basically.
Yeah.
つまんないから面白くしちゃおう。
You were saying, what if someone gets forcefully injected?
Wow, he is. Oh no, that many?
Yeah.
二人とも頑張って。
Yo,
Yes.
this girl need to go, man. I mean, I already knew it was going to end up like this the moment when she did that mass feed thing when she first got introduced, but goddamn, man. You forced him.
And look at this.
And gave him
This
a
is a
lot.
society that throws him aside from the beginning.
いつだってこんなやつだが。ニヤニヤ笑いながら。
Interesting perspective.
So he just. I'm not gonna lie, people in this series has like their perspectives are very strong.
を表したら死ね、ヴィラン。
I mean, you saw what happened. What's up with Stain? I mean, Stendhal fighting in alleys and small streets and stuff at night all the time. Kugisaki. Only you knew.
Not really. Not really.
Do you know how old
Oh
Stendhal
my!
is?
How old he is?
Yeah.
Probably like mid-20s would be my guess. Oh man. Oh man!
Ooh. Oh yeah. The first move he unlocked.
Dun dun dun. Gotta go! Oh.
たとえ前世より発する行動であれ、悪に組みする者はやはり悪。
I bet when Horikoshi first read this from his assistant, he's like, "Damn, you cooked, man. Damn."
I kind of like that. That was
You
really
kept
good.
you kept it up with him, man. The design and everything.
ダール個性凝結血を舐めることで相手の体の自由を奪う
I'd be so disappointed if there's people when I watch reactions to this and they're like, "Why is he so much like Stain?" I'll be so disappointed. Hey. Ooh. Ooh. Ooh, that was nice. The sound design, the movement. Hey.
This was in the preview.
Oh, okay. Hey,
yes,
first time we got
sir.
his. Yeah. Stand always in fights when it's like a trio or something. Clean shot.
Look at how clean he looks in that pose.
歪んだ社会の中で正道を貫く
We.
我々は志を同じくするものだ
同じわけがないだろう。俺はかっこいい正義の味方で、貴様はイかれた辻斬りだ。家だ。一足一刀などと口で言うのは簡単だが、間合いが遠すぎれば初立ちをかわされて無防備に、近すぎれば懐に飛び込まれる。難しいところだな。
That's the problem with being a swordsman.
However, he throw them little blades at you. You don't want him to do that. That'll be quick.
わいや
引き下がればよし。貴様がその線を越えるなら、
Kick your ass.
その瞬間にこいつを叩き
And that's another good shot. Oh, I love how they put his face into complete shadows.
そうやってカウンター狙いに専念されてしまうと外すしかないだがそこを超える俺の脚力は常人のそれをはるかに凌駕するこの踏み込みを初見で見切ることなく英雄とは
About to get sunned.
英雄とは破格の存在常識を逸脱し超越し一線を踏み越えるものを
Damn.
Krakatoa.
That shit gonna fall off. But I'm kind of scared. Usually when crazy motherfuckers like this, that happens to them, they get up and start going
They
crazy.
start laughing.
Yeah.
Well done.
俺は仮面をかぶってなりきりか。たまにいるんだそういうのが。覆面や変装によって日頃の自分とは別人になったと思い込む。
You know something I'm loving throughout this episode?
そういうやつは世間の
The All Might references in every conversation.
Very
They keep talking
central
about
theme.
it.
Yes.
Yeah, that's actually really cool. I'm picking up on that.
覚悟が足りんということだ。
You about to have that all-seeing red moment again.
理解した
You're gonna feel the bloodlust. Yep. Oh yeah. Oh
Dun,
my.
dun,
Yep.
dun, dun, dun.
Oh my god.
Ooh.
That's why I thought he was gonna do in the beginning. Get up them small blades. Wow.
Oh, I can't
This
do anything
man
but
is
laugh.
wild.
This is crazy.
But Knuckle Duster wild too, though. He gonna keep fighting. Jesus Christ. Ah, we're on the same team. No, let's go back to what we said a few minutes ago, man.
No. We're Tomodachi. We're friends.
そうだそうだあ確かにそうだ門を開かれた
I love how they're doing this.
先達の教授に感謝する
Interesting. Wow.
And notice she has to take care of the man who held her at knife point.
Yeah. I was going to fucking strip her and embarrass her. Which is
Expose her
whatever.
online.
You know who live here? Yep.
All Might doesn't live there? Interesting.
Like Stain is a perfect character. You could put him, you could insert him into any other manga and he would still he would fit perfectly. from his ideologies alone.
その覚悟はいくらなんでも面白すぎないかな
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, that happened.
I might use that for the thumbnail. I might use that one for the thumbnail.
Vante, what's he doing?
The spoiler that I got.
Yep.
Guys, I've heard that's wild. I've heard about Stain being in Vigilantes. I didn't know he was Stendhal, obviously. But I heard about something about him cutting off his nose. That's like the only spoiler that I have in Vigilantes. The only one. Nah, he's wild. But like, what really pushed you to get like this though? Like, in the first place. And she just gets up like, yeah. I don't know, is this just like a hole there with just bees? Like, is it like a void, like another realm? Like, Oh, it's about to end. God damn it.
The blood I shed, the blood I bleed is proof of its importance. Behind me, a path
Literally,
remains.
figuratively, literally, all that.
Indelible blood stains that show the way.
Yep, blood stains. Yeah, I see what he did there.
Okay, I'm going to say something, and I'm going to say it outright. That moment was so anticipated for me. I hate how they translated that. He
Really?
literally name dropped his own villain name in that moment. In the translation I read for the manga. I hate how they did that.
I mean,
That
I
was a
kind of
very
picked it
sour
up.
way to end the episode. I know, but like they made it very much apparent like he called himself Stain from that moment on. And I know you know that, but I'm saying it was more impactful in the manga.
Oh.
Easily.
Like literally, when he just said he said blood stains. Oh, I see what you did there.
I know.
That's probably just
Like
the
it's
impact.
there,
Of it.
it's just like it's one of those moments that just fizzles out, you know?
Hmm.
Otherwise, excellent episode.
Yeah, for me, this one was. I mean, just from being a
The upper
mainline
half for me.
fan, like, I mean, this is easily one of my favorite episodes.
Sure.
It was not expected, not even close. Going into it, I just thought, okay, we're gonna see Stendhal again. We're gonna run into him. He's gonna do some more crazy shit. God damn
Yeah,
it.
you did.
We might have to stop
Yeah, you
him.
did.
We might have to fight him, maybe. But
Yeah, we did.
yeah. And Knuckle Duster, man. Shout out to Knuckle Duster. He's talk about conviction stain. He's one of them too, man. He's one of them.
And what you were saying in terms of the parallelisms between the mainline series and this spin-off is the alleyway scene in which he, I'm not going to say fell for, but he got impressed by someone else's conviction. Knuckle Duster showed him that he is a true vigilante. He is not wielding power without conviction. Knuckle Duster feels a certain type of way, and that goes to what Vontae and I were talking about off camera before we started in terms of we know the backstories of Popstep, we know the backstories of Koichi, we know next to nothing about Knuckle Duster and his backstory. All we see is the here and now and what he believes in, and then especially the conversation of warning that he had with Koichi about men who just fight. What did he say specifically? Like men who fight for, I don't know. He said something about like fighting, and it was in reference to Stendhal. Like fighting for power, fighting just to fight, something like that.
Right.
And then they have this conflict in this episode. And if Koichi hadn't stepped in that moment, I know that technically Stain backed away, but it was also Stain recognizing that Knuckle Duster is who he claims to be. He might wear a mask, but he has conviction. And that's one thing that Stain cannot ignore. So he decided to spare his life.
I want to ask this, but the answer, I mean, do we ever learn why he has that kind of ideology, or is it just something we're just introduced to and we just get it and that's all it is, and we'll just forever just keep it at that?
I don't know if this is me misremembering it, but I don't think it's touched upon much more in this series. This is pretty much it as it relates to the Stain tie-in. There might be some smaller stuff in the future,
That's
but
unique.
I think for the most part, this is just like a one and done type of story. Quick little arc, and then we're on to the next thing. So I think this was more so of a reference to the mainline series than anything else, obviously. But I don't think that it's, expanded upon too much more.
I kind of like that in a way. The implicit element to that, you just kind of got a headcanon why. But does it really matter? Once you see somebody like this with this kind of ideology, does it even matter? That's something it's kind of a good question. It's like, well, I mean...
Oh, hold on.
He is what he is,
Do you remember what he was walking away in? What outfit he had?
His newish getup of the Stain, I guess, fit.
No. In the beginning of the episode when he was interacting with Honey for the first time.
He had like a hat on, and
I want to say that he was a window washer or definitely a blue collar worker.
Yeah.
So he might have saw both sides of society in terms of like the upper class who he was working for, and then the lower class who were either addicted to drugs or were just, following their vices in the Undercity.
Right.
So I'm pretty sure that was a headcanon thought that I had, was he was a blue-collar worker who saw society for what it truly was. And upon seeing that society, he decided to take it into his own hands because of his quirk and what it allowed him to do.
Right. Man, this series, like, this is a thing that even with Horikoshi, we talk about this constantly, but like a lot of
All the
people
time.
don't really pay attention to the themes of the series and just characters' ideologies. But I love that this series keeps that up and honestly kind of gets into it even more like strongly off rip. Like you didn't really get this in MHA early on because obviously you're meeting new characters, and then eventually it's like more of a slow burn, and then you eventually learn more of why characters are the way that they are. The only character that you got like that in the first like 6 episodes of MHA is obviously Deku, right? And then obviously All Might, just knowing what he is. And then you start learning about more people and their motivations and all that. But here is also really cool to see this. And it makes me like really anticipate the rest of the series, and we talk about this all the time too, like if Horikoshi or this mangaka ever picked it back up later on or something, or add more or make some kind of special, or have their hands on like a movie or something in the future. I'd love to see that because seeing this there's a whole bunch of other characters that I don't even know in this series that I know in the main line, or some that I obviously have no idea of in general. Like even with the B girl, like why is she even like this? You're literally a high schooler. How'd you get to this? You're talking to All for One. Yeah, like that's wild. So I'm loving this series, man. Every episode has been great. There hasn't been an episode where I was like, that was kind of boring or that wasn't that good. No, they've all been really good at different points of the episode too. It's like 3 different points in the episode on average. I'm like, oh, I really like that right there. Or, oh, I like what that character said or whatever. So this is a great one.
Yeah, I agree. And to kind of go back to a further point that I was going to talk about earlier in the episode, as it relates to Soga. So I knew that the scene would be at the end of the episode with him and Pop Step, and that interaction in terms of Soga's character, you really, and I'm going to a little bit spoil you here, like Soga is a reoccurring character for this story.
Oh, yeah.
And I love to see where he started off at versus where he ends up. Because a core theme of My Hero, and then obviously with Vigilantes, is the concept of redemption. Now, this is all happening while Endeavor is doing his BS with his family. Because remember, this is shortly after Todoroki and his mom had their falling out with the hot water in the tea kettle. So when his friend made that reference to like, oh, your flames were like Endeavor, I just kind of like smiled to myself because I was like, oh yeah, if you only knew what that meant. Like, and then his other friend, I think Rapt was his name, he ended up saying like, no, I'm not going to take the drugs anymore. Like I had my hit, I got high, I literally flied, and then I came back down to earth, both literally and figuratively speaking. So the way that little like delinquent trio is introduced into the story, I love how they were adversarial in the beginning. Koichi and Pop obviously had their interaction to where he tried to save her and with Knuckle Duster. And then moving forward, it's just like, what do you do as a member of discarded society? So for Soga's case, from a very early age, he was essentially blackmailed for who he was as a person. When quirks come out, much like Kirishima, where he nicked his own eye and started bleeding, he got scared of his own quirk. I don't think Soga meant to hurt that kid in his youth. I think his quirk just, evolved, or it came into fruition in his childhood, and it hurt someone that he was playing with or was very close to. And then ever since then, he's been blackballed by society. Now, it's kind of funny. He went to like the delinquent school that these middle schoolers are looking up to, Cyclops and Wolverine.
Right.
But to see how he fits into this society, when you do have the glitz and glamour of All Might, you have the darker side of society as it relates to Endeavor. And now you're really starting to get into the conviction of criminals or vigilantes as it relates to Stendhal and then the Yakuza group. So this really paints a full picture of the My Hero universe. When I was reading both of these simultaneously, yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
I don't know what's going on.
No! Hold on. I was talking. Let me turn off my Wi-Fi. Can you hear me now? All right,
Yeah,
we'll give it a
there you
sec. We're still rolling, guys. Okay, perfect. What I was saying is this kind of paints like a full picture of society. And when I was reading both of these series simultaneously, it was really such a treat because we got to see from the hero's side and then also from the vigilantes side, also a little bit for the villains, in terms of these two series running at the same time and then building off of each other. There's another point later on that Vontae knows about because obviously we have read and watched the mainline series as it relates to Shirakumo. But yeah, that dropped the same time that it was revealed about Kurogiri. So needless to say, I love the synergy between these two series, and seeing this animated and now going back to the mainline series, like all this happened before the mainline series even started. And I'm just so looking forward to the end of this series in a good way. Like, as long as it's not too far off, because I want to see some crossovers at the end of it, at the end of both series.
Yeah, man, this has been a treat. Like I was even saying before we started recording, like even just the animation, the production, obviously it's a movie team or production team that's doing this, so it's gonna look clean as hell. But I like that a lot, like because people have talked so big, like you have in the past about this series, so it looks like it got exactly what it deserves. This is dope for Bones to
More
pick
than
this
it
up
deserved.
and them
This
choosing,
is incredible.
yeah, and then choosing to work on this fire. But that being said, though, is there anything you want to say before we head out?
Nope, just like the video, guys, we tend to do these more long-form discussions, and then we have been really loving Dandadan recently, and that just dropped a crazy chapter for chapter 194, so if you know, you know.
You know. So with that being said, man, I hope you guys all have a good one. Please stay safe, stay healthy, stay clean. See you guys on the next video or stream, and peace.
Peace.